To ask the audience a question, who shops at Aldi or Lidl? Yeah. Yes, quite a few of you. I think you're not alone. Half of us, actually, are now opting to shop there because, obviously, of their cheaper prices. And also, next month, Lidl employees are going to get a pay rise and they will be paid at least the living wage, possibly more. Yeah. It's interesting that you clapped there, because we were talking this morning saying, would that make you shop at a store, Syra, to know that they're looking after their staff a little bit more?
I think this is absolutely fantastic because, yes, people do actually now shop depending on the values of that store. So corporate social responsibility, a lot of businesses have it in place, but it's actually just a bit of a mouthpiece. But what this store is saying is we abide by it. We actually believe that our customers do care about how much we pay our staff, and that's really important to them. So basically, Lidl in London, for example, are now going to go from £8.20 to £9.35, and that is about £1,200 a year more that an individual will be getting, and that's a significant amount of money. And I just think, you know, whilst everybody else is saying, oh, we're going to make redundancies, we can't afford it, it's going to affect everything, actually this store is saying, you can do it, and let's make a big deal about it, because it's important to the customers.
It's great PR, isn't it? I mean, people were shopping there anyway because of its value for money. I mean, I'm sure that you shopped there initially because it's cheaper. Yeah. So then to kind of say, oh, and we're going to pay the minimum wage, the maximum of the minimum wage, is a great PR stunt.
I think it is a PR stunt, but it also, what Syra says, is very, very important. They've decided that when you go to the supermarket, just as when you go to buy cheap clothes, you ought to know what the people are paid that are making these things and serving you and wrapping it up and stacking the shelves. You want to know they're paid enough money to actually live on. Now, George Osborne said that from next April, we'll have a national, he called it the living wage, but he raised the minimum wage to £7.20, and at the moment it's £6.50. But Lidl have gone better than that by saying, right, from right now, instead of £7.20, the new legal minimum, we're going to pay £8.20. Of course, all the other supermarkets are all moaning, saying, oh, well, you know, how are we going to afford it? And lots of big businesses like Costa, Whitbread, Wetherspoons, Premier Inns, they've all said that when this minimum wage comes in, this higher one, they're hinting there'll be staff redundancies or things will cost more. To which I say, let the bosses of those companies take a pay cut. Because it's all about corporate profit. These companies, some of these companies, make billions of pounds.
I think that especially sometimes when they announce losses and then they've still made however many billion. Are you a conscientious shopper? Would that make you go?
I think when I've heard that companies are taking on poor works services elsewhere, other countries where they pay them almost nothing to make the products, then I would be deterred to go to any of those shops. So surely it would work in reverse. And if you hear that the workers are getting more pay, then you'd be encouraged to go there. So in the end, they wouldn't be losing money because they're paying the workers more. They'd actually be gaining or evening out by the amount of customers they're bringing in. And hopefully this example will pass on to others that will follow in suit.
Yeah, if you remember, sorry, Sarah, but if we remember the fair trade branding, a few years ago, they very successfully branded all sorts of products from coffee to bananas with a fair trade sticker. And when you bought these goods that came from abroad, you knew that the workers in those countries were paid a fair wage and a living wage. And that has been a huge success, the bananas and the coffee, and we can buy that stuff and think, well, they're not on slave wages, the people that pick these bananas. And you've got to think the same thing when you go into a supermarket, the same with milk. At the moment, British dairy farmers are being paid less than it costs to actually produce that milk. So Morrison's are going to market this milk that's going to cost 10p extra, and if you buy that, you know that the dairy farmer at least is going to get a fair price for the milk.
Would you buy the milk if you saw the milk with the extra 10p?
Isn't it? If you say, oh, we're going to give so many % to charity, you're more likely to buy that product knowing you do something good.